everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today we are going to do a video on spraying a particular paint that I did a review back a few weeks on. I did a review on the Chippy Barn Amulent Paint and I absolutely fell in love with it. I did as I normally do, my 12-inch practice board with my Klingon brush and loved how it went on, was really impressed by the paint, and as I always do, try, if I successfully like a paint after I've reviewed it, I try to do something in my shop and paint on a piece because it is different when you're painting on a small practice board versus a piece of furniture. So I was impressed by the paint and wanted to go forward. I ordered a couple of more colors after my review video. Today we're going to be featuring this color here. It's called Willow. It's a really beautiful neutral, kind of a soft gray with a little bit of taupe in it. So the bonus is I'm going to spray it today. So I'm going to be using my Earlex 5500. I do have another spray gun, a Fuji Semi-Pro, which is occupied right now with top coat. So we're going to go with the Earlex. It's kind of why I have two, but the Earlex 5500 is a great entry-level sprayer. So we're going to see how this paint sprays today, which I'm super excited. I do both. I brush and I spray pieces. So it's fun to see how the paint does under both circumstances. I know that I loved it brushing, so I have a feeling I'm really gonna like it when I spray it. So without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and get this in my spray can. I do have to dilute it a little bit. Usually I start with about 10%. And I just dilute it with water. Some people like extenders and things, but I'm gonna go ahead and just use distilled water as I always do and get this loaded up in my sprayer, and then I will show you guys how it goes on. Super excited. This is the color here, just so you guys can see on camera. Oh, it's so pretty. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm not even gonna stir it up, and I'm gonna probably end up pouring most of the can in there. Just because I've got two nightstands that I'm doing. They're not large, but it's just easier. So I'm gonna go ahead and get my distilled water and I will be right back. All right, so I went ahead and I put in probably between 5 and 10% water, and then I give it a really good stir. I do this right in my cup. It's just easier than, I don't need to pour it out into any other container. I just do it right in the spray cup itself. I get asked a lot, how thin is too thin? How much do you thin it? Each paint is going to vary depending on the consistency of the paint to begin with. This was not a super thick paint, so I went on the more conservative side. What I can tell you is when you're thinning your paint, you literally want it to run right off of your stir stick. I can tell by eyeballing it, because I've been doing this so long and I've sprayed quite a bit, that this is a good consistency. So I'm gonna start there. You don't want to over thin it because you can tend to get what they call orange peel if you do. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the rest of the gun together and then we will get started. All right, you guys, I am all ready to go. My gun is loaded up, I'm gloved up, and I have my little temporary face mask, my respirator, my normal respirator. The earpiece was not cooperating, so I need to fix that later. So something is better than nothing. This is a pretty small job. It's gonna go really quickly. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started. I'm gonna tip the camera down so you guys can see. I've got two of them, so I'm gonna see if I can kind of get an overall on the back one, and I'll get up close on the one that's up front here so you guys can really kind of see how nice that the spray pattern goes down. Now the key to spraying, there's two things. You want to make sure that you thin the paint to a decent consistency. Too thick is not going to go through the gun. Too thin is going to create an orange peel and lots of runs. So it's just about kind of finessing the paint, the kind of the consistency that the paint's current status is, and then thinning it out with some distilled water. So I always go on the lighter side, and then I can always add more water if I need to. This paint particularly did not need to be thinned extra. It was not super thick, so I think I'm good to go, as I showed you the consistency earlier. And then the other key to having a good, beautifully sprayed finish is adjusting the pattern on the spray pattern on your gun. When you have a gun like the one on the Earlex 5500, it's got an adjustable spray pattern, so you can go really big and wide, or you can, turn it down and go a little bit. I kind of tend to go in the middle. I do not do a spray booth. I cover all my covered pieces. There are mosquitoes. It is so random. It's chilly and they're just out. So excuse that. The other thing is the spray pattern. So you can adjust, like on the Earlex 5500, you can adjust the spray pattern to be very large, or you can go smaller. I tend to go somewhere in the middle. As you can see, I do not do this in a spray booth, so I like to keep my overspray as minimal as possible. I do cover all of my pieces, and I don't have any issue with overspray. That's the great thing about being able to adjust the spray setting. So I am gonna go ahead and dive in. Let's see how this goes. Okay guys, so I got one coat on. I'm gonna go ahead and show you while it's drying. It's actually dries pretty quickly. I would say the weather today here is sunny, cool, about 56, maybe 57 degrees right now, but it's drying actually pretty quickly. I'm gonna show you what that looks like. As you can see right here, it's already starting to set up and dry. Color is gorgeous, and the coverage is really, really good. So I'm gonna say 2 coats and we are probably gonna be done. As you can see how beautiful the finish is, and that's not even dry yet, you guys. So you can see the difference when you spray versus brushing. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and thin it out just a tad more and we will start our second one here. Look at that difference. I mean, that's 1 coat, so it's awesome. So I've got first coat down on both pieces. I am super impressed because it's coming out really great. I didn't think otherwise because when I did my review video, I was really impressed with the paint. Spraying it is relatively easy. I actually was gonna go ahead and thin it more, but when I opened up the can, I was a little leery because it looked really thin to me. So I checked my gun and it was user error. I had a little teeny clog, and so it wasn't coming out as nicely. It was coming out a little slower. After I checked the gun, then it's coming out like a dream. So I'm gonna show you up close in just a minute here because that first piece is already almost dried down. It is absolutely drying beautifully. It's got great coverage and I love how it's spraying. So I'm gonna show you guys. So here we are. You can see there's still a couple tiny spots that need to dry, but this has been about an hour, and again down there you can see a small spot needs to dry, but wow, the coverage is really, really good for 1 coat. This is so close. I don't know if you guys can even see how smooth that is, but it is absolutely smooth. Really, really, really nice. So I'm gonna go ahead and let this really dry up for about another hour before I apply my second coat. I will flip the tables around so that I can get all underneath here. That's what I typically do. I start with one side and then I flip them up on the other. If you're wondering, they have a stained top already, so I'm leaving that be. And yeah, it's gonna be a beautiful combination when it's all said and done. I'm gonna show you guys how much paint I actually used. This was a brand new can. I painted 2 of the nightstands that I'm featuring in the video, and that is all I used. I did 3 coats, and I've used about 1/3 of it. So that just goes to show you how great the coverage. All right, you guys, that is it. We are at the end of the video. I hope that you guys enjoyed that. I just wanted to showcase and follow up on the Chippy Barn Amulent Paint review video that I had done. I really enjoyed working with it in that video and had mentioned if I liked it, I would go ahead and work on some pieces that I had here in the shop. They sprayed absolutely beautifully. Again, just to recap, I used my Earlex 5500. I did dilute it just about, maybe about 10% with distilled water, and it came out gorgeous. It sprayed so nicely. It covered in 3 coats. As I showed you in that previous clip, I used about 1/3 of the can. So you can tell that the coverage on this is excellent. So super excited. So I'm gonna go ahead and showcase the final project and some still photos at the very end of the video so you guys can see how beautifully it sprayed. If you have any questions or positive comments, make sure you leave them down below. I definitely will get back to you. Thank you so much for being subscribers and tuning into this video. Please keep subscribing so you can get all my videos in the future, and I will catch you on the next one. Thanks, you guys. Bye-bye.